So that was Prime Minister Modi in his Chowkidar outreach, where he was speaking to thousands of security guards from across the country and across centers. The message, a very pointed one, where he has invoked the opposition's Chowkidar Chor hai jibe and said that this is an insult to Chowkidars everywhere. He says that the galis will be embraced and used as badges of honor because this is election season, and he says that there will be more such galis like Chowkidar Chor hai that will come the Prime Minister's way. The opposition has torn into the Prime Minister even as he has reached out and said this is just a pretense and that the Prime Minister is trying to divert from real issues facing the country, including issues of unemployment and issues of jobs. Well, the Prime Minister has just spent the last over half hour speaking to security guards across the country. The symbolism has been heavy. The images of security guards from across the country hunched over loudspeakers and their mobile phones, listening to the Prime Minister, a handful of them getting an opportunity to ask the Prime Minister direct questions as well. And now the big outreach is the topic of the day. In the ongoing battle over Chowkidar or Chor between the Congress and the BJP, the Prime Minister has fired the latest salvo by embracing the idea of being a Chowkidar and performing with this particular outreach event with thousands of Chowkidars across the country. I want to get in our first reactions. We have with us the BJP's Vineet Goenka and Aishwarya Mahadev of the Congress party. Starting it off with you, Aishwarya, your first reactions to what the Prime Minister has just said in his speech to the security guards, as well as some of those answers. He did also specifically mention the opposition, saying they will call me a chor, you know, they've insulted, aapko apman kiya hai, he said, you know, speaking to the Chowkidars. So your comments, your first reactions, Aishwarya.
You know, it would have been wonderful if Chowkidar Narendra Modi had spoken to any of the actual Chowkidars from Jharkhand or Bihar, who for months have been struggling without any of their salaries being paid, Shiv. But however, besides this extremely wonderful PR stage stunt that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has brought out, there are a few things we have to clarify. Prime Minister Modi in 2014, when he said Achhe Din and Vikas, he said, मैं चौकीदार हूँ, मुझे Prime Minister मत बनाइए, मुझे चौकीदार बनाइए. जब उसको चौकीदार बनाया हमने, क्या हुआ? After that, you see massive scams. You see one of who's been arrested today, who was allowed to flee under his watch. You see the money going away. You see unemployment going away. You see agrarian distress that has worsened. So we tell you, it's not about the entire profession. We're talking about one man who said, make me a security guard. But he seems to have been worse than a night watchman. He seems to have been completely asleep while the nation was looted. That is what we're targeting.
Okay.
He now, and let me put this out very simply. When a product does not work, but you really need to sell it, what do? You rebrand it. So we went from Achhe Din and Vikas, Modi hai to mumkin hai, to now we're doing, you know, main bhi chowkidar hu. So you're trying to resell this package, but you see the way it's getting backlash.
Okay.
You saw what happened on social media when they ran these bots, Shiv, as well. But I think this is a PR stunt, and the reality is for everyone to see.
Vineet Goenka,
And none
Aishwarya
of this
says
is truly
it's a
reflective. And
pre-packaged,
Mr. Modi, if anything, is an insult to Chowkidars because he's done a
stunt
pathetic
because,
job.
you know, the real issues of the, you know, country are not being dealt with, and therefore, you know, rebranded slogans are being sort of repackaged, recycled and sold to the public. That's the first reaction from the opposition. Vineet Goenka, how would you defend?
Shiv, today, one profession which was given a bad name for last 2-3 months, as if, you know, every chowkidar on this country is a chore. And, you know, when you say chowkidar chore, you go to out in the public and you see all the people who were serving us. Listen, chowkidar is not a person who actually guards your house. He is a person who guards your value system, your country against national threat, or the person who guards you against the leakages. And I think the Prime Minister has done that. Today, when he talked to all these people, the touch which has gone, and the message which has gone, all these days, no Prime Minister in the 7 decades have talked to the people like this. I think Man Ki Baat or this direct conversation with these professional people who were there, who serve us every day, day and out. I think it's not symbolic, but it is a direct conversation, and where I think there is a great message which has gone. One. Number two,
okay,
as far as Congress goes, they are unfortunate right now. All the stunt of Chowkidar Chor has gone flat. We have gone with an head-on with them, and I see Rahul Gandhi lost, and he is just trying to hide behind some representatives who come on the TV to protect him.
Okay.
Three, you see the way the Prime Minister has done for this country. Let me give you example, two examples. Whether it is Nirav Modi, whether it is Christian Michel, whether it is Malaya, he has proved that in the last 4 years what we have done with the fugitives, which was never done earlier. See, another thing, how is a Chowkidar? He is Chowkidar of the dignity of my sisters. Earlier, thousands and lakhs of my sisters used to go in open for defecation, or they used to wait for the cover of the darkness. Today, crores of toilets which have been built are protecting them. Isn't he a Chowkidar of the sisters' dignity?
Okay.
See the mothers who used to,
got your point.
Smoke in the house.
So I want to just ask Aishwarya in that case. Aishwarya, while
on the other hand, last part,
I'll come to you.
Where is Rahul Gandhi been exposed?
I'll just come to you, Vineet, on that second point. Let's spread this out a little bit. Aishwarya, while you do look at what Modi has done as a PR stunt, and repackaged stuff, and event management and orchestrated and everything, is there also a sense or a recognition, Aishwarya, that this is signature Modi, doing what he does best? The Congress went to town saying Chowkidar Chor hai for a long time, claiming that there was a great deal of resonance, and he embraced the word Chowkidar, which he actually came up with, like you rightly said, and said "Main bhi Chowkidar hoon," which had its own sort of resonance. You can call it bots or whatever you want, but I'm saying, does there need to be a recognition that this is signature Modi playing the game?
No, it is not signature Modi playing the game. It is Modi understanding the sort of impact that Chowkidar Chor hai has and trying to turn it on its head, while obviously completely failing. While also, when you speak about being a Chowkidar and the ideals and the value system you have to embody, you realize Mr. Narendra Modi, when he speaks about all his Chowkidar brothers and sisters, and mind you, the questions being on 3 very important poll strategies, right? Why are they calling you a Chor? What about Pulwama? And what about Chowkidar Chor hai? And only 3 questions, besides that. And he obviously doesn't have the guts to come out and have an actual open discussion with Chowkidars, including the ones that haven't been given their salary for months. What Narendra Modi has tried to do here is try to turn it on its head, and none of that has worked. Because the Main Bhi Chowkidar campaign, when it comes out from people like B.S. Yediyurappa and M.J. Akbar, you realize the irony of that entire situation. But tell me, Shiv, clearly, what has Mr. Narendra Modi done for the Chowkidars? Tell me, what did he do for the Chowkidars who had to stand and serve when demonetization was happening? Tell me what they had to do when they lost their life savings, or they would lose their job, when they had to stand in those lines. Tell me what he's done for the thousands who have not been paid salary.
So
I think you need to walk the talk, and you need to put your money where your mouth is, and not just do
that is the point. That brings me to my next question, Vineet, which is that there is a sense, and the opposition says this, there are observers who also say this, that all this theatrics and optics and reaching out and all this event bazi that is always there during elections is a way to somehow simplify and divert away from the issue of the condition of the underprivileged, the Chowkidars, the unemployed, etc. So you can have this big heart reaching out to the Chowkidars, but what about the condition of the Chowkidars is what Aishwarya says. Respond to that.
See, I wish Aishwarya, should have been the advisor of Rahul Gandhi. He would not have done the mistakes which he is doing right now, because what she says has some little bit of sense at least. So let me answer her one by one. Number one, the conditions of the watchmen or the people who are there. Good, this point has been brought. Conditions don't happen bad or worse in one day. They happen because there is a preceding 10 years. So they have to answer for that. But what we have done, I think all these people who were employed as watchmen or guards in the societies or the jobs which were there, they were paid in cash without any protection and no job guarantees, neither the social protection under PF, ESIC, MLWs and PTs. And I think the migration because of demonetization helped them to get their due, which was long pending for 70 years, that is Provident Fund.
Okay.
And how many people joined Provident Fund? More than 72 lakh people joined in the last 3 years. The credit goes to demonetization, the migration of the slavery of the laborers to dignified, organized jobs. This is the people were forced that you have to give ESIC. ESIC is a very big protection for a man so that he can get his medicals done. This may not be understood by the people who are born with a diamond spoon like Rahul Gandhi, because his great grandson of a prime minister, grandson of a prime minister, son of a prime minister, how would he know what does the chowkidar actually understand? That's why he calls the chowkidar chor. Number two, let me give another example. She said what is the condition to be done. We understood this problem, so we brought in Ayushman Bharat so that every chowkidar or a person who is equivalent to his pay salaries cannot get the medical thing. He will get equivalent medical facilities like Rahul Gandhi gets in his member of parliament capacity. So that equilibrium has been brought today by this. Today the Prime Minister felt very good when somebody from Andhra Pradesh said, you are like me. He said, yes, the Prime Minister and the watchman are the same level because both of them get the same protection of health.
So the BJP is basically saying,
bank connection,
so Vineet, the BJP is basically saying that this was not just Hawa mein, this is not Hawa Bazi. There is something substantial, that is at the foundation of this entire outreach to chowkidars. The Congress says that this entire outreach is basically an acknowledgement of the Chowkidar Chor Hai campaign that was led by the Congress party itself. But give me a moment. I want to bring in my reporter as well. Tanushri Pandey is with us. She's been speaking to her sources on both sides. Tanushri, I know I haven't heard the word chowkidar this many times in our daily life like we have in the last few months. I know you haven't either, Tanushri, but where is this going? It started with main desh ka chowkidar hoon, as Aishwarya correctly said. Then it became chowkidar chor hai. Now it's main bhi chowkidar. Is this chowkidar metaphor going to continue right through till the elections?
Absolutely, Shiv. In fact, it looks like the chowkidars have taken the center stage this poll season. In fact, this is not just a Prime Minister addressing 25 lakh watchmen across the country. This is a strategically planned poll campaign of the ruling party, and a part to upping up that poll campaign, Prime Minister is right now addressing through audio conferencing 25 lakh watchmen, chowkidars from across the country. And the first woman, the first guard to call was a woman watchman, was a woman chowkidar from UP who asked a very politically loaded question that why are we being called chores by some political leaders, to which Prime Minister Modi answered that right now the opposition is calling chowkidars chores just in a haste to criticize the ruling party, but they are not realizing the fact that these chowkidars are the people who are protecting the country. In fact, our jawans are also chowkidar. That's what the Prime Minister said. So remember, Shiv, and as a matter of fact, clearly we got to know from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's answer to that particular watchman, that particular chowkidar from UP, that this is not a Prime Minister addressing 25 lakh chowkidar from across the country. This is a planned, strategically planned poll campaign. It's a poll campaign which was initially a dig, a jibe by Rahul Gandhi on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and now it has turned into a massive outreach program by the ruling party. And for as you have asked that if it's going to go in the future, definitely it's going to go. It almost looks like that the chowkidar term has become the flavor this poll season.
Tanushri, stay with me, because Aishwarya, the sense is that this emotion-laden event stuff, the Congress's complaint is talk about the substantial issues, talk about the condition of chowkidars, talk about jobs, talk about all the other substantive issues that you blame the Modi government of having failed at. Is it the case that the narrative appears to be slipping because the orchestration of these big emotional, emotive, sentimental events is something that's going to catch all the eyeballs in the run-up to the elections, Aishwarya? Is that a concern?
As much as everybody loves a good tearjerker, it is not reality. Tearjerkers are meant to be relegated to either to the theatres or obviously when Mr. Narendra Modi takes front stage. The very simple fact is, as much as you want to create this, and as your reporter rightly pointed out, it is absolutely posturing that is happening. These things would resonate with a certain number of people. You realize that there are extremely critical things that go unanswered. Well, where are the jobs, Mr. Prime Minister? Why is agrarian distress so bad? Why are farmer suicide so high? Why did you demonetize currency when it was such a huge failure? Why do we have a GST that is so cumbersome? Why are you failing the startup, stand up, sit up India programs? But the fact is, everybody is going to be asking that. As much as that 6,000 dole that is going to go into accounts is going to happen under the NDA, and also as much as Mr. Narendra Modi will run around saying they insult me and whatnot, reality is extremely different. On the ground, the atmosphere is extremely different. That the man in 2014 who promised Achhe Din has come to a state saying now stand with me and help protect, and has shifted goalposts from 2019 to 2022 saying we need longer time. You realize that people will see through. There are people you can fool once, but the more that you try to do it, the people are far more aware and they understand.
Because there's also this very interesting part, and this is one final point that I want to make on this, Vineet, and I can get your comments on this, was the Prime Minister there very specifically saying, you know, these people will continue to give me galis and I will continue to, make them into, ornaments of honor. I mean, these are medals of honor that I will use. That is a kind of, almost like a, look at these people, like you said, with people born with silver spoons attacking a person like me. That is something we've seen Modi invoke many, many times before, Vineet, and he did it even now.
Yeah, I'll answer to you. Probably this connect has to be there with the people, and you can't, take the insults of somebody who does not understand this country properly lying low. So, the best way is to go back head on and tell them that, hey, we respect all these people who work as a chowkidar, and that's what we connected today. But I also partially agree with what Aishwarya said. And what is that? That there are some people who are unhappy with us. It is true. And let me tell you who are these people. This may be Priyanka Robert Vadra ji. And then if you permit me, can I speak one line in Hindi? Shiv?
Please, please, please.
Yeah. So I went to UP that day, and somebody in UP explained me Priyanka Vadra ji's situation. She said, the lady told to me कि भैया जिसकी मैया भैया और सैया तीनों बेल पे हो, जमानत पे हो, वो तो दुखी हो गई, आपसे नाराज तो होगी. So if Priyanka Robert Vadra's Maya, Bhaiya and Saya, all three are on bail, naturally they will not be able to see the Achhe Din. But the common man now knows that economical offenders cannot run away. Now they know that they will get toilets. Now they know that they will get gas connection. Now they know that they can have banks, And so those people who were deprived of this for 70 years, now they have it. And they're really happy.
That is, in fact, I'm glad you raised that, Aishwarya, because that's going to come right after
this. You're my younger sister.
Break.
You know that all these people will be brought back along with the National Herald.
Save your words on Nirav Modi, Aishwarya and Vivek, Vineet, because we're going to talk about that right after this break.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.